Good evening. I am calling this meeting of the Town of Silver City Council to order. Councilor Eamon Smith will be joining us this evening by telephone. Councilor Eamon Smith, can you hear us?
Yes, sir, I can hear you fine. Thank you.
Very good. The Girl Scouts of the Desert Southwest will do the flag ceremony this evening, and they will follow that with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand. Girl Scouts at attention. Color Guard, advance. Color Guard, post your colors.
Color Guard, honor your flag. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with On my own, I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl Scout law.
Color Guard dismissed.
The first item on the agenda is proclamations, and since March the 12th, 2017 marks the 105th anniversary of the Girl Scouts, the town would like to recognize this with a proclamation. Would Annette Tony and the Girl Scouts of the Desert Southwest please join me at the podium for the presentation? Are there anyone else who have been a Girl Scout? Councilor Bedeston? Councilor? Okay. Do you have someone who's going to take some pictures or anything? Okay. Whereas March the 12th, 2017 marks the 105th anniversary of Girl Scouts of the United States of America, founded by Juliette Gordon Low in 1912 in Savannah, Georgia. And whereas throughout its distinguished history, Girl Scouting has inspired millions of girls and women with the highest ideals of courage, confidence, and character. And whereas girls discover, connect, and take action to make their local communities and the world a better place. And whereas more than 3.2 million current Girl Scout members nationwide will be celebrating 105 years of this American tradition, with 59 million women who are former Girl Scouts and living proof of the impact of this amazing movement. Now, therefore, I, Ken Ladner, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the town of Silver City, Grand County, New Mexico, do hereby applaud the commitment Girl Scouting has made to America's girls and proudly proclaim the week of March 12 through 18, 2017, as Girl Scout Week. Would you like to present this to the Girl Scouts?
Sure. Can I give it to you, Annette? Thank you, Mayor.
Can we get a picture with her, Mayor?
Okay.
Yeah, I know. This isn't a good place. You want just so this isn't blocking.
Could we kind of move over this way, so we kind of be in the background?
She's also
Oh, no. Go ahead. Candid's better anyway. Ignore me.
As testimony of the great job that the Girl Scouts do, there are many women leaders in Silver City, including our own two councilors, Councilor Bettiston and Cano. Do I hear a motion to open the cookies and eat them? Thank you very much, Girl Scouts of the Southwest.
We gave you the new cookie, Mayor Ladner. The s'mores cookie is 100 years old. Or Girl Scout cookies are 100 years old this year. So there's a new cookie, the s'more.
I hate to be picky, but if you have two more, I could pass them on to Councilor Amon Smith when she returns.
we were going to eat them.
She has to have two of the same flavor. Maybe you could trade her.
So you're giving us one box for her, is that right? Thank you. The next item on the agenda is public input, and no one signed up for public input, so we'll move on to the next item, which is council comments. Councilor Cano?
Thank you, Mayor. This evening I have a whole list, so bear with me. The first thing is I've been getting a lot of complaints about potholes, and I just want to remind the public that on our Silver City website, there is a link that you can go to report a pothole, And I know that has happened in my neighborhood, and recently, probably either today or yesterday or sometime, we had several that were filled in, so it actually is an effective tool. So use that link, and then the proper people will get that information and fill them out. Also, I have a bunch of stuff about downtown. The first thing is, I don't know if it maybe got hit during an accident or something, but the yield sign on Hudson and Broadway is no longer there. So it says that you can turn left, right after a red, but it doesn't. There's no yield, so I don't want somebody to go through there. The other thing is, I've had several business owners who have come to me complaining about panhandlers. I guess they're getting worse again downtown, so I don't know what we can do to start enforcing that ordinance, just because some of them have been a little aggressive lately, and I guess there's been a few that business owners that have been concerned about their business because of that. And also street musicians, I don't know if we have any ordinance about that, but right now there's a lot of street musicians that I guess are blocking sidewalks and right in front of businesses, and so they're, oh good, the chief seems to have a response. Good.
Mayor, City Council, thank you for the question. One of the things about the panhandling is it, under the aggressive panhandling, if a person comes up to you and asks you for money, and you tell them no, and they persist, that's aggressive panhandling. It's not illegal for somebody to stand on the sidewalk and ask for money, as long as they don't pursue anything. If they're on private property, that becomes an issue with the property owner. They can call us, we can move them along. The panhandling by Constitution is a protected free speech, and anybody that is involved in doing that has protections. When they step across that line into aggressive panhandling, then that creates a crime of that, or a violation of that ordinance. So if I come up to you and ask you, ma'am, you had some money to spare today, you say no, okay, thank you, have a good day. If I persist and follow you and pursue you, then that's a violation of that ordinance. The sidewalk downtown is a public street. Therefore, they're entitled to be there. If there is an issue with them continually going after people, they need to call Central Dispatch and report that.
Okay, my other concern there is, I guess there's a couple of young men who are, I'm going to quote the business owner, half naked, selling rocks downtown, and they have been blocking the sidewalk. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet either, but blocking the sidewalk. So my concern there is if they're blocking the sidewalk, then people who are handicapped or have strollers or whatever aren't going to be able to go by. So at that point, should just the business owner be calling Central Dispatch, or how does?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They need to report that. They can't interfere with the flow of traffic or interfere with pedestrian traffic, correct?
Okay. And while I have you there, another concern that I've heard is that the four-way stop on 6th and Bullard is still, people are still running it like crazy.
I'll make a note and we'll pick up some patrols on it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. And then, actually, you might want to stay there. I don't know who's going to be able to answer this question for me. Regarding the article about the crossing guard situation, I've had a few people who have asked me some questions about that. Their concern mostly is if the fire department is out there, they're not, I don't know, certified or whatever to cite people if there's an issue. So people are wondering, you know, kind of why they're going to be out there if they don't really have any power.
And that's a good question. They're not certified law enforcement. However, they went through training with us to learn the skills of directing traffic. And most of them do it anyway, especially when we need help at traffic crashes. They'll jump in, direct traffic, control traffic for us. However, they're not law enforcement, and they won't be issuing citations for any violations there. Now, I want to explain that, because the individuals that are there that are directing traffic, our officers and or fire department, is there for one thing. They're there to create a safe environment for both the motorist and the pedestrian. They may not have time to go chase somebody down. especially if they're in the middle of the intersection directing traffic. Right now, it's going through a kind of a pilot program where we're seeing what we need to adjust. At the basis, we're directing traffic, trying to keep the flow of traffic moving, stop traffic, let pedestrians cross under controlled situation. Had comments this morning from the officers, and with the officers present, it seemed like the traffic was calmed quite a bit. So we're going to continue this project for a while, see what the benefit is, and see how effective it is.
Yeah, the reason for this was because the superintendent, I had a meeting with him, and he asked if we could look at something like that, because we also had a discussion that next school year, the Highway 15 project will be going on from McDonald's up to 32nd Street bypass. So that whole stretch of road is not going to be an alternate route for people to use, so everything's going to be jammed through that intersection. So we want to try to work on something that's we're going to get a lot more traffic than we have now, but we want to be prepared for them, and plus the school wanted us to see what we could do and try. So, he came to us, he asked for help, so we're trying to accommodate.
All right, I think I'm done asking questions.
Thank you.
I'm not done, though. I would also, I'm done asking you questions, but I'm not done with council comment.
Thank you, Jacob.
I also wanted to congratulate Engineer Rob McGrath from the Soda City Fire Department. He was named the Firefighter of the Year a couple of days ago, so congratulations to him. He also serves as the Secretary of Local 2430, so that's pretty neat. And so now that I'm talking about firefighters, after having a conversation with some of the firefighters about things that are coming up, equipment needs and stuff, I'm really concerned that we need to start talking about how we're going to replace some equipment that's probably out of date. So I was just wondering if you had anything, or if not, we could talk about this at some point.
We're going to be working with the new chief.
Okay.
But all the departments have those same needs.
Yeah.
Just that the union went to you guys.
Yeah.
In this case.
Yeah, I'm just concerned, the one thing that really just hit me was the self-contained breathing equipment. I know that is really important. I've talked to firefighters in other cities, and I actually had a fire chief who explained to me that equipment was so important that it would be like asking the police to respond to a call without a gun. So that's the one that's really concerning to me, and I know the other stuff is much more expensive and it'll take a while, but if we could just start thinking about that, I think it's really important.
Yeah, the acting chief has been looking at it, but
Excellent.
we'll wait till we get a regular chief.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Councilor Rice?
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question also for Chief Reynolds. Is there anything in the books that disallow or allow the length of a vehicle parking there on Broadway, on the vertical side?
No.
So it doesn't matter if people have to go around like that as long as it's
If you're talking about, and I don't mean to interrupt, if you're talking about a vehicle that is a long bed,
Yes, sir.
or even pulling a trailer and it's parked properly on the side of the road, in a block, no, there's nothing illegal about that. That's something that, if we had marked parking areas, then that could be addressed. But currently, there's nothing in there. Now, if they're interfering with traffic, then that is a violation and could be citation issued for that.
Because there are some trucks that are extra long there in the way of the traffic going down, that they have to go kind of around.
Is the diagonal parking, is that what you're talking about? The ones that are sticking out into the street?
Are you talking about on Broadway Street?
On Broadway, going down towards Bullard, on the right-hand side.
If any portion of the vehicle is in the travel portion of the roadway, then it's a violation.
There's quite a few of them.
Okay.
And also, Did you discuss or did you ever go and look at the stop sign up there on Cooper and Broadway?
Yes, I did. We haven't gotten to it yet. It's on the list of things to do.
Okay, I know it's your night, but yes. Okay, that's all I have for you. Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
That's all, man. Thank you.
Councilman Amon Smith?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I want to say how regretful I am that I was not there in person for the Girl Scouts. And I appreciate you reserving maybe a box of virtual cookies for me. I'm on the East Coast, and one of the things that is intriguing to me here is that there are in neighborhoods all kinds of what seem to me to be interesting traffic calming landscaping processes, little islands, things that come out a little bit into the street that make people slow down, as well as the heavy use of roundabouts. And I know that those are expensive, but, you know, just being here in a place where that traffic calming landscaping process has been used pretty intensively has been of interest to me. And when I come back, I look forward to talking to the town staff and other folks about ways to have people slow down in a way that is kind of natural and beautiful at the same time. So thank you, guys. I'll be back soon.
Thank you, Councilman Amon Smith. Anything else?
That will be it. Thank you.
Councilor Bedison?
Thank you, Mayor. Chief? You may want to wander up again. Just really quickly, I've had a few complaints from some folks parking downtown who park in handicapped locations about, and they understand that these trucks are delivering to local businesses, but blocking the handicap parking, they can't get into the vehicles, they can't exit, they have to wait for the driver to pull out. The driver, when asked to move the vehicle so they can leave or get in their vehicle, gets pretty irate. I mean, what is a citizen to do about a situation like that?
I'll call Central Dispatch and report it so an officer can respond and deal with it.
Yeah, and we know, I mean, these folks are understanding that it's limited room for folks to be able to deliver with big trucks to certain locations, but I think that, yeah, there's that, and it's somewhat issue that sometimes folks that are delivering things to various businesses will actually park in the handicap spot, which has bothered a couple people that have called me, and they said, you know, I don't want to really go up and say anything to them, but it's not a loading zone. So once again, if the resident sees that, they should just give a call to Central Dispatch.
Yes.
Okay.
And we've been dealing with this for a very long time.
Yes, I know.
With the downtown area, there's just no place to do any deliveries, especially some of those restaurants and so forth. Even the food co-op, how they end up having to get their deliveries. So we kind of make allowances and hope that these drivers wouldn't interfere with other traffic, parked vehicles and so forth. We haven't had any crashes. Right at this point, I don't recall any complaints other than within the last year I might have had 2, maybe 3 complaints of that type of parking. Reality is, the way downtown is very difficult. If we do loading zones, that type of mechanism downtown to reduce the number of parking for it. Generally, these people that are doing the deliveries anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes and then they're gone. So, it's, the way downtown is, it's one of those things that we kind of have to put up with. However, people can call in, especially if they're blocking a handicap or they're blocking a man and they can't get out, call us. We'll get down and take care of the issue.
Primarily the concern has been about handicap parking. I mean, people, like I said, they do understand, but at the same time, if they have to get somewhere and they can't get in their vehicle or the person in the truck says, "Oh, you can squeeze by," and they're thinking, "Yeah, I don't think so." You know, it's just, and they do understand, it's probably why you're not hearing about it. They'll generally call one of us and just say, you know, I had an issue, and, you know, what should I do about it if it happens in the future?
Right.
So,
And they can also call me. I've always given my number out. My direct number to my office is 956-1243. You know, we'll take care of the issue.
all right. Thank you, Chief.
You bet.
I also have a few more comments. Actually, Silver City's been begun, as of Monday, as of yesterday, distributing the new recycling carts to residences. So distribution will occur through March 10th, I believe. And so please make sure that you put out your recyclables in your old bin. They won't take the old bin. I'll tell you what you can do with that if you want. But put them out so you'll get the brand-new cart with the lid on top. And the new recycling pickup with the new carts, not the old bins, which are open and much smaller. I can't remember how many gallons are they? 27, the little ones. That begins on Monday, March 13th. So, yay.
The ones we got are 65 gallons.
Yeah, no, I'm at the little ones that are
The
open.
blue ones are 27, the big ones are 20.
Okay.
The ones we're doing is 65.
Yeah, the new ones are 65, but make sure that beginning the week of March 13th, if you put out your recycling, put it out in the new carts. If you'd like to begin recycling, and if you haven't done it already, or you want to get a cart because you didn't get one, please call Public Works at 575-388-46, I can't read my own handwriting, 40, I think it says, to request a cart. Just a reminder that curbside recycling is free to all Town of Silver City residents who have a utility account for garbage service. And remember, please do not bag your recyclables, toss them freely into the bin. Don't make the driver think that you've tossed in a bag of trash by mistake, because they will have cameras to see what's being dumped into the bin. And it also is difficult for the baler to do that when you've got bags. They have to kind of open them up, and they have to get the recyclables out. If you have no use for the old bins, those 27-gallon open bins, you can drop them off at the Office of Sustainability at 1106 North Pope. And if you like, you can exchange them for a little 6-gallon bin that's perfect for indoor use. I plan to use my old 27 gallons outside to throw into just outside the back door, and then take that bin and dump it into the 65-gallon bin, so they don't have that close to the house. Just a reminder, some of the things that can be recycled in the new carts are the same things we've done before, with the exception of glass. Remember, we no longer recycle glass. I just want to remind folks, because I see them when I'm driving, pizza boxes, due to the food residue and grease in them, are not recyclable. If you want to recycle things that are like food tins, or whether they're tins or they're aluminum or they're plastic, make sure you clean out the food. Don't include the food in it, because that just kind of makes everything a mess and makes the recycles not worthwhile to the folks that we're selling them to. And do, if you can, please also wash out your milk and beverage containers. And just remember, no glass. So, I think the other things, Alex, you'll talk about that under staff. Thank you. All right, that's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Does the council have any other comments? I have a few. I would like to welcome Mayor Richard Bosch, the mayor of Santa Clara, with us tonight. Welcome. I'd like to thank and recognize the Member Regionals Arts Council, and thank all of those who volunteered to make Chocolate Fantasia a really great event downtown. It was good to see so much activity in Silver City over that weekend. I'd also like to recognize the task force and other volunteers who helped to make our Territorial Charter Celebration Day a success. One of the members of that task force is Scott Terry, CEO of the Chamber of Commerce. He's here tonight. But there were a lot of people who worked to make that a great success. It is also important to note that because of the due diligence and heads-up of our state legislators, Senator Howie Morales, Representative Rebecca Dow, and Representative Rudy Martinez, and also our town manager, Alex Brown, and assistant manager, James Marshall, two very important Silver City projects were saved. The Ridge Road Sewer Extension Project worth $2.3 million, and the Highway 15 road paving, including drainage and sidewalks, worth $7 million, was saved from elimination of the budget, from the budget. So thanks to all of them who played a major role into keeping those projects here in Silver City. Along with that, the Grand County Day and the evening reception in Santa Fe was a tremendous success due to the efforts of the Grand County prospectors and others. I don't know how many of you got to see the Chamber of Commerce display at the reception, but it was first class, really professional, and it was a really worthwhile event. Also, thanks to the many other people and organizations from Silver City and Grand County who spent countless hours in Santa Fe promoting and working to promote our community interests, including many of the local media. Thanks also to Councilors Bedison and Cano, who spent and will spend more time in Santa Fe on behalf of our community. And as treasurer of the New Mexico Municipal League, Councilor Bedison also makes great contributions. A while back, I was speaking with Scott Kennedy, owner of Home Furniture, and he asked me, when are y'all going to take those street lights out of my storage? I didn't have any idea what he was talking about, and so he took me over, and there we discovered 14 street lights, exact street lights that we have downtown. It turned out that the streetlight project wasn't completed because of money issues, and so it only went as far south on Bullard as Jalisco's. And there's still 9 more spots for streetlights. At nighttime, that's a pretty dark area through there, and it's also where the Gospel Mission is, and so it would be good to have lighting in there. And thanks to Manager Brown, those 9 streetlights are now in the process of being installed. Do you want to make any comment, Alex, on that, or?
No, they probably would have been installed a long time ago had we known they existed. When the mayor told me, it was the first I had heard that they existed, and it wasn't a big expense to get them installed. So once we knew that it was happening, that they were there, the expensive part, the lights are like $5,000 each. The installation is going to be like $8,000 total. So, I'm glad you had that conversation so we could get it done. It's something simple to get done.
We'll have 6 left over because over the years, several of the existing lights have been damaged or destroyed, and we had to spend quite a bit of money.
Quite a bit of money to first, it's really hard to find them. Second, when you find them, they're very expensive. And we actually had purchased 2 recently because of a couple that were hit downtown and destroyed. So now we've got an extra 6 now spares for the downtown area.
Last but certainly not least, we'd like to wish Councilor Amon Smith a happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
We'll spare you the song, okay?
Yes, go sing to me. Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is changes to the agenda. Does the council want to make any changes to the agenda?
No, sir.
Okay, no changes. The next item then is approval of minutes of the February 14, 2017 regular meeting. Do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Edison?
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the Town Council, Silver City, for February 14th, 2017.
Thank you. We have a motion. Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion as stated.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is reports. Mr. Brown?
First, I believe that Ann wanted to do a report on the election.
Yes, Mayor and councilors, and to the public, I just wanted to remind everybody that Election Day for one counselor in District 1 and one counselor in District 3 will be held on Tuesday, March 7th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Silver City Women's Club. The candidate for counselor in District 1 is Cynthia Ann Bettison, and the candidate for counselor in District 3 is Jose A. Ray, Jr. Early voting at City Hall will continue through this week. It will end on Friday, March 3rd, at City Hall at 5 p.m. It ends. I encourage the voters in District 1 and District 3 to exercise their right to vote. Come see us at City Hall this week or come to the Women's Club on Tuesday to vote. And since our next council meeting is not until March 21st, I wanted to let everybody know that our official canvass of that election will be on March 9th at City Hall at 8:15 a.m. And right afterwards, the newly elected officials will be sworn in. So we won't have our usual official swearing-in ceremony on the following Monday. We're going to do it on that same day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Any other reports, Mr. Brown?
Yes, Mayor, Council, recently there was an article in the Daily Press about a few projects that were going on. The Penny Park project, it's a RAID grant through the Environment Department. I can't remember the exact amount, but it's to put the crushed rubber on the fall zones at Penny Park. So the Penny Park will be closed for the next week. And we've also got 2 sidewalk projects, legislative allocation projects that have been put on hold, as well as the work that needs to be done at the 4th baseball field out at Scott Park. We're supposed to be getting an estimate for the work out at Scott Park very soon, so hopefully if they don't take those funds, we'll be able to get that project started right away. The other 2 projects, one is the downtown sidewalk project. We originally were going to do some engineering and design and then do construction with the $125,000, but after going through the design review process, it was a lot more expensive to do it in that area because of the historic nature. We had to do a lot more research and it costed a lot more to do it, so we weren't going to be able to do very much design, so we decided to just go ahead and expand the design area and design as much of Market Street area as possible, those 4 blocks in that area. And then the third one was the sidewalks would be on the north side of 32nd Street next to the high school, as all the way to, we're going to do parts, because there's already sidewalks in a lot of it. We're going to just fill in the sidewalk up to 32nd Street. And until the legislature, the state, releases those funds, they're all on hold right now. Okay.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Brown? Any questions or comments from the public that's here tonight on those 2 projects? Okay, under new business, the first item, 11A, is the approval/disapproval of the Town of Silver City audit report for fiscal year ended June 30, 2016. Mr. Brown?
Mayor, Council, the state auditor released our audit just recently, and it requires that the town council approve the audit and accept the audit. Today we have with us Jeff Mamro, and I forget the name of the accounting firm because they just changed last year the name. So I'll let him go over the audit and answer any questions you have.
Mr. Mayor and Honorable Council, I'm Jeff Mamro with Southwest Accounting Solutions. I performed your financial and federal awards audit for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2016. Let me give you a quick rundown on this. I don't want to take up too much of the council's time. First of all, in both cases with the federal awards and the financial statements, the town of Silver City did receive an unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion you can get, and that's what you're shooting for. One finding with both financial statements and federal awards, and I'll get into those really briefly here in a second. First, I did the audit also in 2015, and give kudos to the staff, Mr. Brown, Anita Norero, and the rest of the staff. I've dealt with pretty much everyone that has some kind of financial aspect with the town, and I really appreciate their hard work, just to let you know. Let me do a quick rundown on your statement of net position for you. One thing that I really appreciate that the town did do, in 2015, I had asked the town carry a little bit more cash, because you weren't really carrying enough in case there was some kind of emergency. And I do appreciate you guys actually listening to me. I like it when I'm listened to. So there was a little more cash on there. I don't have any issues with your assets to liabilities, noting that your largest liability that you carry is actually related to your para, which is not technically a town liability. It's in a state fund. Once you give the cash, at least currently, that's where it ends. The payments don't come directly from the town itself. And on your liabilities, roughly 11.5 million in your liabilities is related to your retirement, your para. So you're technically still not responsible for that, but it does go on your books per state requirement. Everything else in your statement of position is fine. You carry some debt, but you're in good position to cover it. And your fixed assets are still substantial, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. Let me address your findings real quickly also. One is related to your federal awards, and I'll go over that one because that one's really quick. It's related to your high-intensity drug trafficking program. This is one where my hands are tied. When they submitted the drawdowns, it wasn't done in a timely manner. There's nothing I can do about that. If they don't do it on time, I have to do a write-up for that. Let it be noted that it's not handled, though, at your town hall. It's handled off-site. It's actually not even in the town itself currently. And the program, my understanding is that it's going away. It's gone now. Glad to hear it. I had a finding for that one the previous year, too, which was resolved, but they had some issues with some receipts and that. That one did go away from 2015. The other one I'll run through real quick. Your financial statement. This one I'm not married to because you do have a program for your accounting. Like you do have software. It's extremely aged and it's not current. You can still work around it. I do some entities that use Excel as their accounting software, and in that case, you know, there's really no way around it. But here, it's difficult sometimes to get the trial balance going and track down all the funds completely in the software. We did it, but appreciate Anita. Anita and I worked very hard on the trial balance, actually. But we got it all ironed out and worked out. So, like I said, I'm not married to this finding. It's not one that has to go on forever. But this year, there were a couple issues that I didn't come across in 15, mainly related to the fixed asset list, et cetera, that we wrote it up. It has a lot more to do with the software than it does with any human issues, just to be honest with you. But other than that, once again, kudos to everyone. I think they do a really, really solid job. No issues giving you an unmodified opinion whatsoever, and no going concern as far as I am concerned. So, thank you very much.
Okay, any questions? Councilor Johnston?
From my reading, thank you, by the way, and I want to thank the town staff. They're pretty amazing, and I'm glad that you think they are as well, because they keep us afloat and working well. But one of the things that I noted on the last one you talked about is that it seems that the management response from the town has been that it's identified and secured funding for updating our financial management software.
Yes, since we talked about, and we have been looking at it for a while.
Right.
We've actually found an upgrade to the current software, but there are some things that need to be fixed in the way the original software was set up. For instance, one of the issues we had were with the governmental gross receipts accounting. Part of the water bills are making the correct entry to that fund. Part of them are not, so we have to do it manually. We have to reconcile it manually right now. We need to get things like that fixed in the software itself. And then there is an upgrade to the current software that is just laid over the top, and it turns it into sort of like a Windows-based software. It's a lot easier to work with. You can find things a lot easier. And we've actually got the money set aside. What we did was the money that was left over from the water meter grant from the ASWA, we set it aside, and then the little bit of money that was left from the loan for the recycling software, all that is set aside to pay for the upgrade of the software. So we're working on it. It's not going to be implemented by the end of this fiscal year, because it's been really hard getting them, the software company to start working on it. But we're going to, it is being worked on, and we've got the money to do it, so.
And we've, once again, listened to our auditor.
Yeah, let me address two things on there. First of all, as far as Alex's response goes, you have to understand that this response was given several months ago.
Yeah.
We have to wait for the state auditor to go through all the audits, and obviously they get hundreds and hundreds of audits, so it takes them time to approve the audit, to go through it. So when he gave us that answer, it was extremely reasonable at the time, just to note that. Also, what he mentioned as far as the human error aspect goes is exactly the concern. However, the finding doesn't have to remain just because the software isn't updated at that point. It does take a little more human effort from both auditor and auditee to make sure that there aren't any loose ends tied out, because that's what we don't want to, if we can get it below an ISI threshold, then it doesn't have to stay. It's tougher, but it's not impossible to do it even with the software, because technically, it's not something I can ever make you do, upgrade software, et cetera, et cetera. The productivity will go up exceptionally, I believe, if the software was upgraded. That's my opinion, but...
Yeah, basically, the software is so old that I'm the only one that really knows how to use it. I have to teach almost everybody else how to use it. And they learned really well. So they've done a really good job.
Well, thank you, and thank you to the auditor, and thank you to our staff, who are pretty amazing in being able to do this, and as you said, learn really well from the only person that knows how to use the current software. Thank you, Mayor.
Any other questions?
Mayor, can I just recognize the finance department staff that are here this afternoon? We got Renee, and I can't remember everybody's last name.
Please
so-
stand when your name's called.
Renee, who works in the finance department, Amanda, who works in the finance department, accounting clerk, Erica, who's our new purchasing agent, Shay, who's our newest accounting clerk, and Stephen, who's in charge of payroll and grants. And then Anita, who basically, she does most of the accounting work. She's where everything gets taken care of, and I just oversee it. So I just want to recognize them and thank them for doing an excellent job.
Thank you. Okay, do I hear a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilor Middleton?
I move to approve of the Town of Silver City audit report for fiscal year ended June 30, 2016.
And a motion, how about a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second it.
Councilor Ray, second. Is there any discussion? Any questions or comments from the general public here tonight? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please, Ann.
Councilor Benson.
Aye.
Counselor Amon Smith.
Aye.
Counselor Ray.
Aye.
Counselor Hunter.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I have a request for a short break. Do I hear a motion? Councilor Khan?
Move to a short break.
Okay, we'll take a short break. Do I have a second?
I second the motion, Mayor.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Call our meeting back to order. The next item is 11B, the request for endorsement of the Fort Bayard project. Mr. Scott Terry, CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, will present some information to us.
And I promise we'll keep this brief and we won't have any questions for the chief. So, I don't think there's anybody in this room that doesn't believe that Fort Bayard, that historical area really is a wonderful place. If you want to go out and hike, if you want to drive around, if you want to look at the buildings, it's very moving at times. You can go out there and you literally can hear the wind blowing through. And it's a beautiful area with the mountains around. The bad thing is, and I've only been here 3.5 years, and even in that 3.5 years, you see the deterioration of the buildings. You see things falling off. I know, looking down the officers' homes, the very last one to the east, the pillars have fallen over on the front porch. I gotta admit, where I lived in the south, man, that sucker would have been stolen the first night it was down. I'm glad it's still there. The sad thing is, it's not being fixed. And in the time that I've lived here, and in the time that a lot of you have lived here, while the state of New Mexico has maintained Fort Bayard, quite frankly, they've done a very bad job of it. I can remember whenever I first moved here, there was this wonderful fountain in the parade ground. And then I learned it wasn't a fountain, it was just a water leak. But it leaked for almost 6 months before anything was done. There's things that have gone on out at Fort Bayard in the last several years, and quite frankly, it wasn't the state maintaining things, it was the village of Santa Clara. Recently, they had a gift to go out and take a crew and cut down all the old dead trees as you drive into Fort Bayard. And that was the village of Santa Clara that did that, not the state of New Mexico. There's been times where just things the grass need to be mowed, and trying to get the state just to do that, somebody else, the village would have to take their tractor out and take care of that situation. It's good that they wanted to do that. As we talked about transferring the property of Fort Bayard possibly to Santa Clara, I want to say that nothing good ever happens without a vision. And quite frankly, I don't believe, and I don't think anybody believes, the state of New Mexico has a vision for Fort Bayard. I will tell you that the village of Santa Clara does. I know that each one of you I think it was emailed to you, and I delivered hard copies of the business plan for what they'd like to do in the development of Fort Bayard to the town of Silver City. Hopefully you had a chance to look over that. As I've gone to other organizations and other governmental entities to talk about this, one of the questions has always come up, well, Santa Clara financially is having tough times like all the other towns. How's this going to work? And if you look at that plan under phase 1, quite frankly, it tells you exactly how it's going to work. There's been discussions with the U.S. Forest Service about possibly them going out and using 6 buildings that are currently at Fort Bayard, and in return, money will come in to help revitalize Fort Bayard, to help put money into Santa Clara. There's going to have to be some infrastructure taken care of. There'll have to be some employees probably added to Santa Clara to help do all the things that needs to be done at Fort Bayard. And as long as that happens, and quite frankly, it looks very good that this could happen, then this really becomes a reality. Quite frankly, if we can't get the state to transfer, then it doesn't. And it's sad, I mean, this is really a sad thing to say, but when we were up for Grant County Day in Santa Fe, and the folks from Santa Clara and the Historical Society met with the state, one of the things that came out was they really liked the business plan from Santa Clara. Liked it so well that they could possibly adopt it themselves and bypass Santa Clara. I gotta be honest with you. If you believe that the state of New Mexico would bring in income off of Fort Baird and bring it back to Grant County and put it back into that area, I've got beachfront property on the south side of town, I'll tell you. I don't believe anybody believes that will happen. So, they've got a really good plan. Quite frankly, the odds of this happening probably aren't very good. But gosh, they've got a vision. They really want to try to do something well. And quite frankly, as a community and as a county that really relies on tourism and people coming here to spend dollars and having attractions, Fort Baird could be that destination for tourism. Right now, it isn't. I can tell you that there's groups like the Grant County Gem and Mineral Society would love to go out and build a lapidary and have a display of the different minerals that can be found in Grant County. In some talks with some of the folks with the Chiricahua Apache, there's the possibility of maybe bringing back the red paint powwow and having it out at Fort Baird. And wouldn't it be great to have an Apache museum out there? Redoing some of the properties so that the museum that's there can be open every day instead of just on the weekends and during the summer months. There are so many things that could happen, and if the U.S. Forest Service were to go out and use 6 of those buildings out at Fort Baird, man, that would really draw traffic to that area and really help make Fort Baird a destination for tourists, which really, quite frankly, helps Silver City probably more than any other city, because those folks are going to stay in the hotels here. You're going to get lodgers tax from that, and they'll eat in the restaurants here, and that's gross receipts tax. So it would be a benefit to this area. When you look at the bigger picture of Grant County, having Fort Baird become a destination tourist attraction would benefit all of our county. So it's with that we bring this resolution to you and ask that you would pass a resolution that you support the transfer of Fort Baird to the village of Santa Clara. The mayor of Santa Clara is here with me this evening, so if you have any questions, we'll take them at this time. Thank you.
And the agenda item is the endorsement of the Fort Baird project, so that's what we would be acting on.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any questions? I think a lot of people believe that, as I do, that anything that happens that's good in any of the communities involved in Grant County helps all the other communities. I remember one time Mr. Brown told me when we were talking about the water project in Hurley, he said, those are our cousins, and we need to help them because when they do good, then that spills over into Silver City. So if there's no questions, do I hear a motion? Councilman Benson?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve an endorsement of the Fort Baird project.
Okay, we have a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion as stated.
We have a second. Any discussion? Any questions or comments from any of the public that's left here tonight? Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next item, 11C, is the approval/disapproval of Resolution 2017-11, a resolution amending the approved and adopted budget for the fiscal year commencing July the 1st, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, and for municipal purpose in the town of Silver City, New Mexico, transferring and appropriating funds thereof. Mr. Brown?
Mayor, Council, usually we don't bring you mid-year budget adjustments very much. The only reason that we brought this one is because we did not include the debt service payment for the SID loan for the water line under Highway 180. That was $181,000 loan. It was $65,000 payments, but because the water sewer fund is doing so well, I decided that we should just go ahead and pay the entire loan off at once. But because we're going to do such a large payment, I wanted to bring the budget adjustment to you and let you know before we spend the money. Usually what I do throughout the year is move money within a fund, and if we're going to have a significant increase, then I'll bring it to you. But in this case, it is a significant transfer out of $181,000, so we're increasing transfers out from the water sewer fund and increasing the transfers into the debt service funds by $181,000, so that we can pay that entire loan off this fiscal year. Next time I'll bring you a detailed one. Anita put it together, and she didn't put a detailed one because it was just one transaction, so we thought that we could explain it rather than give you all the detail, which is one transaction.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Councilor Bedington?
I'm a little confused by what was presented here. So the money is being moved out of the water fund?
The water sewer fund?
Water sewer fund. And where is it going again?
Into the debt service.
It doesn't show it going into debt service.
It's debt service others. The thing is what's happened is, if you look at the enterprise funds, the transfers out is $857,000 right now.
Right.
It was originally $770,000. It's increased to $857,000.
Okay.
The transfers out to the other debt service funds was originally like $60,000. It's been increased to $229,000. I apologize. Next time I'll bring you a before and an after so that I can show you exactly how it's changed. But because it was one transaction, I didn't think it was necessary. But when I saw this, I understand the confusion.
Yeah, because I can understand, I can see the $229,000 under the debt service other into the budgeted transfers, but I just don't understand where the $857,000 went.
It went into that. It was originally, it's $229,000.
Right.
It was originally $181,000 less than that.
Okay. Okay, it's just, for some reason, I'm having trouble with, this is the first time I've had this much trouble. I just don't really quite understand what.
Yeah, it was just one transaction, and if you rather to be more comfortable, we can bring you an easier one to the next council meeting so that you're clear on it. I would actually rather that you do that. Seeing the confusion.
It just may be me. Everybody else can understand.
No. I don't have a problem because we're not spending the money till the end of the fiscal year. So we can wait, but I wanted to show that big of an increase.
Yeah, I think we should wait.
Okay.
Unless you guys...
Postpone it to the next meeting and...
So, do I need to postpone it?
Yeah, just postpone it till the next meeting.
Okay.
And I'll bring you
The date is?
before and after.
Okay, I make a motion to postpone resolution number 2017-11, a resolution amending the approved and adopted budget for the fiscal year commencing July 1, 2016 through June 30th, 2017, and for municipal purpose in the town of Silver City, transferring and approving funds thereof to the next town council meeting scheduled for March 21st, 2017 at 6 p.m. here in this building, in this room.
A motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Councilor Ray? Any discussion?
I apologize. This won't happen again. I'll bring the detail and the summary that I gave you in future.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Aye.
Motion carries. Postponed until the March 21st council meeting. The next item under new business is 11D, the approval/disapproval of resolution number 2017-12, a resolution to oppose New Mexico legislation identified as CS/HB 174 to enact a local election act. Councilor Bedison?
Thank you, Mayor. During the course of the last several weeks, the HB 174 has become a topic of much concern by municipal officials across the state, by our own members of our own council, and of course our town clerks. And I just want to state for the record that our town clerk, Ann Mackey, has been incredibly active in the town clerks and Treasurers Association as the former, or as the immediate past president of the Municipal Clerks and Treasurers Association, in discussing with other clerks some of the issues surrounding HB 174. And I just really appreciate the work that she's done to provide us with information and to update the clerks on some of the concerns that she's had. And before I go any further, I want to thank her for her excellent and well-worded resolution that she crafted that is before us today, that has also had some assistance from our counselor, Robert Scavron. I've also been active in this from another side, from the elected official side, and as a member of the executive committee of the New Mexico Municipal League. And so I just want to break down a few things for the public so they can understand what we're talking about. And first, I just want to say that this is, the CS stands for Committee Substitute for House Bill 174. It's actually a committee substitute for combined House Bill 174 or 104. The original House Bill 104 by Representative Bandy did not include municipalities, but House Bill 174 that was presented by Jim Smith, who's a representative, and by I can't remember his first name, Senator Ivy Soto, did include municipalities. And so just a few brief statements so that public will understand what the concern is here. In removing the municipalities' right to administer their own elections, this bill effectively gives another governmental entity and other governmental entities power over our duly elected officials in the municipality, and takes away the municipality's ability to self-govern and to maintain local authority and autonomy. The bill cedes power to another governing body, the New Mexico Legislature, which basically ignores, invalidates, quashes, and repeals the duly cast ballots of our citizens, in particular the municipality's qualified electorate who have voted on their municipality's charter or amendments to our charter, specifically our territorial charter, by forcing the amending of the municipality's charter without the citizens' consent. So I have a little bug up. Well, let's just say that's one of my biggest issues, is the fact that as a child I saw the disenfranchisement of voting in Venezuela, and as an adult I saw the same disenfranchisement of the voters, the qualified electorate, in Peru. And I would hate to think that our legislature could think that they could negate all of the votes that our citizens have cast to amend our territorial or special act charter, which we just recently celebrated, and it was celebrated in Senate Memorial 30. It's about, HB 174, or at least this committee substitute, is about exercising power over duly elected officials in New Mexico by forcing them to change their terms of office and election dates, and by having another government entity, a county commission, decide what questions are allowed on the ballot of a local government's election, and then canvassing that election without municipal government representation. I think one of the most important things to know about this is this in particular, committee substitute for House Bill 174 actually repeals the Municipal Election Act, which is what we currently run under, and does not allow our clerk or any municipal clerk to participate in municipal elections. They are no longer to do that. So before us today is this opposition to the New Mexico legislation identified as CS HB 174, which is to enact a local election act. And in particular, our resolution, and once again, I want to thank our town clerk and Mr. Scavron for his input, focuses on the fact that we have a territorial charter, a special act, the only one that exists in this state, and focuses mainly on our opposition to it based on that charter. Because our charter, as our mayor has said, as many people have said, including the Senate, our charter provides us with certain rights and powers of self-government that should be granted, that is to be granted in perpetuity to the citizens of the town of Silver City by the territory of New Mexico legislature. It is a model of self-government, and that is the reason why we keep it. And this is one of the pieces of legislation that is trying to, as has happened in the past, to do something that really tries to remove local authority and autonomy. And I just am presenting this for consideration to the council so that they understand that we are opposed to this, that we do not want them to change our charter. We don't want them to mandate that it be somehow changed to different terms of office, and that we don't want our municipal clerk to forego being able to run our elections. She has done so diligently and with great aplomb and with nothing but making sure that she adheres to election law, and clerks that preceded her did the same thing. I mean, for 139 years, am I doing that right? Yep, 139 years, we have carried out our own elections and we have done this. So I'm not sure why we need to fix something that isn't broken, as many people have said. I don't know if anyone else has any comments before I make a motion, but I welcome them because I think that this is something that really speaks to the essence of who we are in Silver City. So,
Councilor Ray?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm very glad that we are going to use this charter as a backbone for this particular piece of language here in the state. I'm glad that we have brought it up this far. And let's keep it up, because I think we all deserve it. Not just us, but the citizens of Silver City also. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Councilor Amon Smith?
No, I don't have any questions. I've been really following this and reading all of the documents that come out, and I can really see how this is a direct attack and threat on our particular charter, and I agree wholeheartedly with Councilor Bennison's analysis and Robert Scavron, our attorney's thoughtful input on this.
Thank you. I have one statement I'd like to read. Make no mistake about it, our town territorial charter is under attack, as the Local Election Act was recently passed by the State House of Representatives. Although the bill still must be approved by the Senate and approved by the governor, we must do everything we can to protect this valuable part of our heritage and self-governance. Our territorial charter, issued in 1878, is a very special document that gave us the fundamental right and freedom of self-governance. With that freedom, Grand County became the most respected and progressive community in the state of New Mexico. And as Councilor Bennison said, we're the only municipality in New Mexico that has its own territorial charter. As a matter of fact, I think there's only one other in the United States. One other state, is that right, Mr. Scavron?
Within our region, the only other territorial charter is, I believe it's Georgetown, Colorado, with a population of 1,100.
Okay. So an important part of the charter was the provision that gave us the freedom to administer our municipal elections. To quote from a statement made by our town attorney, Mr. Robert Scavron, and with his approval, quote, "Of all the legislative acts of the territorial legislature, the granting of charters in furtherance of local government is quite likely the most intelligent and satisfying accomplishment of the legislature. It is a shame that such aspirations are treated with such disregard and disrespect by so many of the successors of the founders of this state," end quote. You ready for your motion?
I am, Mayor. Before I say that, I just want to publicly thank and state my appreciation for Representative Rudy Martinez, who was the only one of the Grant County House representatives that voted no on this legislation, and I thank him for doing that. As a former municipal official, elected official, and mayor of Bayard, I think he well understands what this legislation means. So, with that, I move to approve of resolution number 2017-12, a resolution to oppose New Mexico legislation identified as CS/HB 174 to enact a local election act.
Is there a second?
Mr. Mayor, I'll second that motion as stated.
Second by Councilor Cano. Any discussion? Roll call, please, Ann.
Councilor Dennison?
Aye.
Councilor Amon Smith?
Aye.
Councilor Ray?
Aye.
Councilor Kano?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. This concludes the business of the town of Silver City. I would like to remind the public that the next regular meeting of the town council will be Tuesday, March 21st, 3 weeks from today. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor, I move to adjourn.
I have water and cookies, so I can stay for a while.
I'll second
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
This meeting is adjourned.